I want to introduce you to something today. I did it in the first service. This will be the second time, but something that the elder board has been praying about for some time. We watch the church and how the church is doing in both numbers and facility, and we also watch finances, and really they govern the large picture of the church and making sure that it is all following our mission, which is to love God, love others, and serve. And we've been watching this for a couple years now and have decided that now is probably the time to go ahead and mention this to the congregation and put it out there for us to a project to tackle. Let me give you a little bit of history first. Some of you are new in the last couple years. We haven't always been here. We were on 10th Street for 1971 through 2017, we started to move, and our project was called the Reach Project, and we wanted to move over to this side. The Lord opened up this building for us, and the very long story that's made short is they wanted $1.4 million for this building. We thought that was a neat little flyer that they printed, and then we offered them $600,000, and then they said nothing. For like a year, they said nothing. We happened to have a friend who was an executive at that AT&T company, and we went the back way and got a hold of the lady. Long story short, we negotiated down to $950,000 to buy this building. Over there was 9,000 square feet. This is 30,000 square feet. Over there was 0.65 acre. This is 4.8 acres. Over there was 65 parking spots. This is 250 parking spots. Over there was tucked away in the neighborhood. This one isn't tucked away. Well, I just tell people we're just north of the Target. And they go, oh, yeah, I know where that is. Okay. And so we moved over here. In 2018, it was the year of the building. Many of you were here. We hung drywall. I never want to hang drywall again. We carried drywall from that corner to that corner. All the walls that you see here, except for that one, we built. And then, of course, we had to finish it all out. And many of you were a part of the painting, vacuuming, and it was a very long year. But God worked. God blessed. In fact, we finally settled $950,000. Then they did the assessment, the feasibility period, and the company, AT&T, said, we're not going to fix that. We'll just give you a check for $416,000. Will you take that? Well, yeah. Sure. So we bought this building for $509,000. Which is quite impressive to go from 1.4 to $509,000. And then we raised money, about $150,000. Then we sold our other property and made about $150,000. And then we took about a $300,000 loan to do what you've seen here and raise money along the way. That was Reach 1.0. Then we did Reach 2.0. That was the landscaping on the outside. We felt that the inside should reflect the outside, and so we fixed the outside in 2019 and remodeled the whole exterior of the church. So when you drive by, it looks like a church. In fact, one lady pulled it. This kind of broke my heart, made me mad and sad. I don't know what it did. It made me laugh, really. I was talking to a lady outside here for some long story reason, and she says, oh, is this a church? And I looked at her, and we had talked for about 15 minutes. I said, did you not see the 12-foot cross in the front? She said, I drive by this every day. No. That's a you problem. That's what I told her. That's your fault. This looks like a church from the outside. When it didn't, before we got here, it looked like a prison, quite frankly. It had barbed wire fence all the way around it. Do you remember this? And it was a brown government building. It did. Now it's pretty on the outside. If you missed the cross, you've closed your eyes. There's a big cross on the front of this building. And so we raised about $100,000 to do that in 2019. And we knew when we bought this building that we would have to adapt it gradually. We weren't going to take a $6 million loan and build something. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. We just didn't think that was what God wanted for us as a church. And so we bought a building that we would have to make updates to. And so I'm going to talk to you about an update that we need to make to our building. We knew that this building had its flaws. One is the column that stands behind me. We're the church with the columns. We try to hide them. They're black. We try to hide them in the shades and in the different spots. But the reality is if I take a step back, I'm going to hit my head. And so there's a column right there. And it works great for some things, but it's terrible for most. And so that's what we have is a column. We have several of them that need to be taken out, but that's not the big problem. The other one is our bathrooms. Our bathrooms are they're just not good. They work, thank God, they work, but they're just not good. We need to make some adjustments to our bathrooms. So I want to introduce you to Reach 3.0. I know it sounds like an iPhone or something, but I like the idea of Reach. I like the idea of a project. I think this is what we are doing. It fits in with the life of our church. We could have stayed on 10th Street on two conditions. We could have stayed there. First condition is If anybody new comes, they have to ride a bike. We have no parking. They have to ride a bike. Second, they can't bring any children. We don't have any room. So we can only take people who ride bikes and have no kids. That's it. So we moved over here because our mission is to love God, love others, and serve. And our mission is to do it as long as Jesus leaves us here. And when Melanie and I first got here, we kept saying to our elder board, I kept saying to our elder board, where are we going to be in 40 years? Where are we going to be in 40 years? You got to think long term. Well, the Lord provided this. Well, how are we going to make this work for the next 40 years? Because you can't just think of today. You got to be thinking long term. And so one of the things that we have to do is address our bathrooms. Now, there's 3 phases to this, where I'm only going to talk to you about first phase, but let me give you the big picture. This isn't the whole sermon today, I promise, but it's going to be a part of it. Go ahead and click to the next slide. Bathroom, phase 1. We have children's bathrooms. We don't have adequate children's bathrooms. What we have is a spot for just everybody uses those 2 bathrooms back there. So if you're inside the toddler room and the toddler has an accident, you have to leave all of the kids and go across the hall to take care of the toddler accident. There's no water inside of the nursery. And so if there's an accident inside of the nursery, you have to take baby across the hall and do everything over there. And so there isn't any running water in the toddler in the nursery room. And so we've been able to make it work for a couple years, but we're getting to the point now where like this kind of needs to be fixed. We keep having babies in our church, and that is great, but we can always say no more babies. Obviously, that won't work. We want babies here. We want young families here. We want all families here, but we need to take care of our bathrooms. Let me give you a big building picture. I'm going to point up at this one. I've lost my laser marker. But this middle section right here is you are here. Right in the middle. This is the stamp of our building. That's where you're at right now. Go ahead to the next slide. This one is the bathrooms. You are here. Here's the main bathrooms right here. That's the long-term plan. One day we're going to have to remodel the existing bathrooms. We're going to have to add adult bathrooms and then children's bathrooms. The long-term plan is right outside this door is the Lifeline room. We're going to turn that into a men's and women's bathroom is what we'll do with that one day. Men's and women's bathroom, and then to this side of it we'll turn it into a family bath. A family bath is for somebody who's perhaps in a wheelchair and they need assistance in there. We have handicapped bathrooms, but this is one that'll be a little bit bigger and is for that individual or individuals who need extra help. So one day, this is what this will happen. That's the ultimate plan, is to fix all of these bathrooms and update them. But we can't do that all at once. That's going to cost a lot of money. And so we'll do it a little bit at a time. And so if you go to the next slide, I want to talk to you about this little room over here. And this is our nursery and toddler room area. And so the first concept is this. We would add a bathroom in the corner of that toddler room. We'd put it in there, and it would just be a one-holer, and that's where we'll put a little bathroom in there, and the kids can use that. If you had an accident, the kids can learn how to go potty in there. It would all work. We'd also tie in a sink and put it inside the nursery, so that would put plumbing inside of those 2 rooms. What's easy about it is right outside the wall is where the sewer line is, and so we would just tie into that. And it sounds awfully easy, but that involves a jackhammer, a wet saw, concrete, digging down about 6 or 7 feet, and then going out and down the line. And so it would take a lot of work. But that's the first concept. We would add a sink and a changing table in the nursery. There's another concept to this, and that is that there is a room over here right next to this. This is our storage room right there. Go ahead, click over. There's these resource rooms right there, and they're already big rooms, and so we could just turn those into bathrooms. That would mean we would have to trench a hole all the way down that where it says sewer line, and that just means wet saw, jackhammers, and shovels. It's work. It's just work. It's a lot of work, but it would work. We can turn those into that, and that you can make 2 bathrooms for about the similar effort. If you go to the next slide, we would also have to move all that stuff that's in the storage into a different spot. We have plenty of room in our children's area to add cabinets and make that work, and it would be fine, but we'd have to purchase those cabinetries for those classrooms. But the next concept is this concept 3, is what we could do with that one is say those same bathrooms, rather than just turning them into just a bathroom, we could turn one into a family bath and a shower, or family bath or 2 family baths with a shower inside of there. We can still utilize them for toddlers in the nurseries, do all the plumbing that would need to be done to make that suitable for that age group. It'd be very important that they would have water, it would be accessible, but we would have also the ability to have a couple showers. That's important because when Snowmageddon hits again, and your power goes out at your house, you can actually stay here at the church, and there'd be enough room to actually provide that. When we have adventure camp leaders in town, and we're going to have a whole week, we don't have to farm out these students to go sleep at different houses. They can actually stay here. If there was a need within the city to have a shelter of some kind, we would actually have showers where they could actually stay here and be there. If your house caught fire and you needed a place to stay for a few days, we would actually have showers where your family could stay here. So it gives a little bit more flexibility. And those rooms are 100 square feet apiece. And so there's a room to put either a family bath with a shower in one, and then maybe two holes inside of the other one, or some configuration like that. And so this would be Reach 3.0, something that we need as a church to care for our littlest of these, the little ones, and also provide for other things too. And it would be the first phase of probably 3. The next phase would be to add bathrooms. That's that right there. The next phase would be to remodel existing bathrooms. But we knew this going into this building. We weren't going to take out a $6 million loan, but over time, as our church became stable and kind of grew into its space, that we would adopt new projects a little bit at a time, giving everybody a chance to take a step of faith. You might have come to the church in the last 2 years and you don't remember you weren't there over on that side, but you're now here. This is your opportunity to take, I'm going to take a step of faith. That church that moved from over there to here was about 220, raised about 150,000 to do this. Now we're here, we average about 220 on a Sunday. Now is your turn. Maybe you need to take a step of faith. And so this is a step of faith for all of us. Some of us were a part of Reach 1.0, Reach 2.0, and now Reach 3.0, and probably in 30 years we'll do Reach 1705, or something like that. I don't know. But rather than doing it all at once with a big fat loan, we figured we're going to do this a little bit at a time as the church grows and the church gets stable. And so our guess, and it's a guess, the cost of this is about $25,000 to $30,000 to do at least that first concept. I got a bid for this about 2 years ago, so it's a stale bid. It would change probably a lot between then and now because of everything that's changed. But that was the baseline, about $25,000, the general contractor said, to add the bathrooms in the far corners. To do it differently would probably cost a little bit more. So I'm presenting this to you today as a matter of prayer. Be praying about this. And then as a matter of action, would you consider contributing to this in some way, shape, or form? I haven't hired a contractor to come give us a bid because I don't know where our church is financially. I don't know. We're doing great right now. We're making budget. We're about $3,000 over the year short, but that's great considering the summer and considering all that's gone on in our community. We're doing really well, and I don't want to presume upon you. And so I didn't want to bring a contractor in and say, this is what it is. Let's see what the church does. But it's going to cost at least $25,000, at least. And if we were able to add those rooms and turn into something that could be used in different capacities, then we'll see how that goes. But as soon as we get to about $25,000, then we can get a contractor and really kind of nail it down. My dad was a contractor, a general contractor, and it's always a bummer when he'd go show up at a job and put in all this work, and then the homeowner or the business owner would say, yeah, we're going to wait 3 years. He put in a lot of time for that, and I don't want to waste a contractor's time if we don't have the ability to at least get something started. So that's the idea. As a phase 3, Reach Project 3.0, phase 1 is children's bathrooms. And if you've worked in our children's ministry back there, you understand it would really be a blessing. So be thinking about that. Be praying about it. If you would like to talk to me more about it, please do. If you have another idea, I love ideas. I like to throw things at the wall and see if they stick and come up with different concepts. And so that's just the beginning salvo of those concepts and what I think could work. And so please talk to me afterwards, or Jay, Dre, Shane, or Justin, our elder board, and let us know what you think. If you'd like to give to that, you just write on the bottom of your check, Reach 3.0. And that money will go to that project and that project alone, and we'll get that thing started as the Lord provides the ability to do that. And you can give online as well. So